Today has been a wonderful day for the Ron Paul Revolution and for the future of liberty in the United States. 100% of the precincts have now reported their results in the Nevada caucuses. Ron Paul has scored a second-place finish with 13.73% of the vote. This is remarkable, and this is unprecedented in the history of the 2008 Ron Paul presidential campaign. Let us take a look at this history and notice a definite upward trend in terms of the places that Ron Paul has won in the various primaries and caucuses. During the first caucuses in Iowa, Ron Paul won 10% of the vote and scored a fifth-place finish, beating so-called frontrunner Rudy Giuliani, who of course has declined so far in the actual voting booths that the chances that he will become the Republican nominee are virtually negligible. In New Hampshire, Ron Paul also won fifth place with 8% of the vote, this time beating Fred Thompson. In Michigan, Ron Paul exceeded his prior performance and got fourth place, beating both Giuliani and Thompson. Now, in Nevada, Ron Paul has exceeded all of his prior performances, beating every single candidate except Mitt Romney. Now, in South Carolina, one might say Ron Paul did not beat Thompson and Huckabee and Romney and McCain, but he still won fifth place, which is no worse than his prior performance. So, in every single primary and caucus, Ron Paul has either done better than at the outset or about the same, which means that the general trend of the Ron Paul revolution is onward and upward. Ron Paul is gaining in support among the American people, and furthermore, he is gaining in recognition among the mainstream media, which was the big obstacle to his campaign before. Let's take a look. An MSNBC article about the Nevada caucuses has the following headline: Clinton-Romney win in Nevada. But the subtitle is what is really prominent: Texas's Paul to finish second in state's GOP caucuses. Now, when was the last time mainstream media articles released right after the end of primaries or caucuses mentioned Ron Paul? It has been very rare, but now Ron Paul is all of a sudden in the headlines. That is progress. Another article by the Los Angeles Times states the following: hidden behind all the hoopla, headlines, and the Nevada caucus victories of Mitt Romney and Hillary Clinton is one little noticed but stunning political development and number. Ron Paul, the one-time Libertarian candidate and 10-term Republican congressman from Texas, was in second place. That's right, second place, ahead of all other Republicans except Romney. And, moreover, his percentage is far ahead of all the prior percentages he had gotten. The highest percentage of votes he had gotten so far in any primary or caucus has been 10%. This is nearly 14%. So we see clear gains in the support for pro-freedom ideas in this country. Now, Ron Paul's support among Republicans right now is anywhere from 6%, which is what he got in Michigan, to 14%, which is what he got in Nevada. Considering that Republicans are about half of the American population, that's anywhere from 3 to 7% of the U.S. population, which believes in a strict adherence to the Constitution, protection for individual rights, and limited government. Have you ever thought, in prior years, or even in the months just preceding these developments, that 3 to 7% of the American population would actually actively hold the same values that our founders held? This is truly phenomenal, and it will only continue to grow. Furthermore, there's a money bomb planned for this Monday, January 21st, also Martin Luther King Day. Now, as any of you informed viewers know, Martin Luther King is one of Dr. Paul's personal heroes. Indeed, a success in fundraising on Martin Luther King Day will prove all of the vile slanderers and accusers of Dr. Paul wrong. It will show definitively that Dr. Paul is not a racist, and that the ideals and principles espoused by Dr. King, the ideals of a colorblind society that judges people on the basis of the content of their character, are also ideals that are firmly held by Dr. Paul and by his campaign. Moreover, these are the first stirrings of pro-freedom sentiment among the younger generation, a generation to which I belong. I'm in my early 20s. This has been the first election in which I've taken an active role. And I can tell you the political demographics of this country are changing. My generation, the Millennial generation, consists of highly educated, intelligent, autonomous, and technologically adept young people. We know how to use computers, and we know how to use the internet. And we love the internet because of the opportunities it offers us to take charge of our own lives and to make a difference. In no prior era in our history could I have been the editor of a successful web magazine, could I have published so many articles and commentaries on various political, philosophical, and cultural issues online. And many other young people have the same possibilities and opportunities open to them. And they are embracing them, learning from them, and using them to make our world freer, more comfortable, more interesting to live in. Our generation also perceives the glaring ineffectiveness of government. We have gotten virtually no support from government, no advantages from government. All that we have seen are the inefficiencies of government in controlling our lives, and the damage that government has done in attempting to restrict our freedom and take things away from us. We want to be free from the impositions of those who think they know better, because we know they do not. Many government officials today function on the basis of political theories that are not only prior to the internet revolution, they're also prior to the industrial revolution in their origin. They still perceive wealth as a zero-sum game. They still believe that this vague notion of society can oppress people beyond their ability to recover from their own misfortunes. They distrust the market. They distrust technology. They distrust the forces that we in the younger generation have seen to improve our lives and the lives of those around us. We know the power of the market. We know the power of individual liberty. We also have much greater access to ideas outside of the politically sanctioned mainstream than any previous generation. In this respect, we are the most similar generation to the American founders in the history of this country. The American founders were driven and animated by the 18th century Enlightenment, and they read and they discussed the ideas of the leading Enlightenment thinkers from Europe, individuals like John Locke and François Voltaire and Montesquieu. And they used these thinkers' theories to fashion a free, enlightened government and society that respected individual rights and respected economic liberty in the United States. Now, in subsequent political campaigns, our generation, the Millennial generation, will take a much more active role. There will be other candidates who will further the message of the Ron Paul Revolution. This is just the beginning. However Ron Paul ends up doing in this presidential campaign, keep this in mind. Keep in mind the greater purpose of this revolution, which is not just to elect a president. Whether or not that will happen, the revolution will go on. It will be a political, social, and cultural transformation encompassing all aspects of our lives. It will lead to a freer society. It will lead to a technologically progressing society. It will lead to a society where individuals can be left alone because it will be recognized that they know their own good better than distant, remote government officials who can only inflict harm if they attempt to meddle in people's business. So, congratulations, Ron Paul. Let's hope that the revolution moves onward and upward. Remember the money bomb on January 21st, and think about the future.